Warning. The following show is likely to switch topics faster than a Kardashian switches NBA players in bed. Caution is advised. We surveyed 100 people. Actually, no, just some dudes off the street about JB. And here are the top answers. Number 1, JB, I love JB. Did I say that right? Do I still get my Chick-fil-A gift card? Number 2, who? Number 3, I know JB. He don't know shit. And now he's got a podcast? This is What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB, your friendly late-stage midlife husband, dad, and self-diagnosed ADHD connoisseur. This is all about candid conversation with friends, colleagues, and professionals, unpacking life's lessons and having a damn fun time doing it. And hey, sometimes we're going to veer off topic. But isn't that what makes life interesting? Let's talk about taking the good parts and leaving the bad. Because life's too short for unnecessary baggage. This is What the Hell Do I Know with JB. And now your host, Jason Becker.
All right, man. We were just talking before the show started about that intro, and I definitely got to cut it. It was fun for the first few episodes, but we're working on it. In fact, I've got a guest here today, my good friend Will Turpin. And we may have to talk to you about maybe doing a jingle or something, like a 30-second.
You're talking about redoing it. All right, let's do a jingle. You know who would be a great voiceover person?
Who's that?
It's Johnny Rab.
Oh,
drummer.
yeah.
His voiceover is just amazing, man. He's got a career there. He just doesn't have time. We keep him on the road too much.
I know. We need to do something, though. That would be so cool to do a collab and, script it out, do something funny, edgy. That would be fun, and then keep it because it's fun the first few times you hear it, but I'm kind of getting old on.
Yeah,
It's
good.
I will say though,
it's good.
I
like your direction, but there's
thank you.
You could have evolution of that.
Yes, yeah. For sure.
For
by the way, I went to go see my favorite wing joint last night. I went to fit my favorite wing joint, my favorite hostess at my favorite wing joint. Shout out Buffalo Jack's. And so I got to see my daughter there hosting. It was great. And one of the servers came up and she was like, "Oh, I'm loving your podcast." And I was like, "Thank you so much for watching." I said, "What's your favorite episode?" Which she then was telling me that she loved the last one we did with Maria. Yeah. I say the last one. By the time this airs, there'll be a couple in between there. But she loved the one we did with Maria.
Yeah,
Galati
that was
Hill.
a good one.
And that was a good one. But then she said, "Oh, and I really like the one that Bmoney did with his friend." And I was like, "Well, he's my friend too." So you're getting around this Bmoney's sticking. This Bmoney's sticking. So
my name's Bmoney.
Yeah. So again, we love all of our listeners, everybody out there in the world. We really appreciate you listening and subscribing and commenting and all the things that we're doing. We get it when we're local and somebody says, "Hey, I honestly, I appreciate it when you walk up and you're like, hey, I listened to something, you got something from it. It means a lot." And so I'm sure to Money and Juice. So if you're first though to it, just to kind of introduce everybody again, I'm JB. Really, everybody calls me Becker, but it didn't work really for the podcast. So JB is what I went with.
I'll catch myself every now and then calling you JB.
You will,
every now and then.
And we got my good friend Juice and Bmoney, and then our guest today is Will Turpin with Collective Soul. I mean, but you've also got your own band there as well, the Will in the Way, right? You still doing stuff there? Or you kind of pausing a little bit? Or you had Serengeti Drivers was out not that long ago.
Early 2019.
Yeah.
It's 5 years now.
Yeah, 5 years.
I know.
Unbelievable.
Over 5 years, I would guess now, right? If the math is right.
So, unbelievable. Well, listen, before we move on to all the things we've got planned for this episode, I want to talk about the drink of the day today because it's rock and roll, and in honor of Will Turpin with Collective Soul, we're doing bourbon on the rocks.
Just on the rocks.
So just on the rocks. And what kind of bourbon? What kind of bourbon do we drink here?
Chicken cock.
Chicken cock, baby.
The one and only.
The oldest bourbon in the land in the U.S. Chicken cock. He's coming. Marty's coming in town.
Yeah,
so
I heard.
That's going to be a lit episode too. So I'm super excited about that. And shout out to them. They've been incredible sponsors for our show. So chicken cock bourbon, baby. Absolutely.
Did you get Will any? I mean,
Does Will have
I got to send him some. Oh, and by the way, drink.
What sponsor is that?
Yeah. Hey. By the way, drink only if you are 21 and older, and drink responsibly. But
I've got my music-themed bourbon here at the studio.
come on, I like it. Well, I told him, I said, we're going to do bourbon on the rocks. He said, that sounds really
It's a
good.
little sampler, but it's Heaven's Door.
Yeah. Is that,
Well-
I like a little rock and roll bourbon there.
Little Bob Dylan influence there.
I love it.
Oh, I'll have to try that one.
I love it. I will have to try
that,
that. We're not cheating, I promise. We just got to
Nah,
try
I
a
mean,
few
it's
bourbons
okay.
every once
You
in a
have
while.
a side chick, it's cool.
A side chick.
cool, man.
Side chick with chicken
I
cock.
I mean, it works out.
Oh, let's not start that. Let's
No,
not
I
start
don't
that sort of
currently have a
thing.
side
Let's
chick, all
not
right.
start that
I'm
sort of
happily married.
That's right. But our show sponsor today is actually Optimal Human. Also great friends. You can go to optimalhuman.com/JB for 50% off your first order. Fueled by 90-plus powerful ingredients, Optimal Human, the all-in-one health supplement meticulously designed to fill the nutritional gaps left by modern diets. But as I've mentioned, we have my good buddy, Will Turpin, man. Will, and wait, here, right here. Yeah. Yeah. There it is.
Yep.
That doesn't get old, does it?
No, that song does not get old.
That's all, when it comes on, it just takes
never
me
gets
back.
old. That's so wild.
Isn't that
It's one of
amazing?
those tunes. It's like everybody sings along with.
We've
Yeah, if
got
you're-
some relic here in the studio. You know, that was recorded at the other location. I'm in
Right.
I'm in the location that was built in 2001, but I was going through stuff at my mom's house. My dad left a lot of stuff. I mean, he was a jack of all trades, but even just the music trade between the stuff he had, you know, he had anything from a guitar shop with guitar tools and guitars he was making to PAs and microphones and all kind of stuff that I was going through. But anyway, I found the original Roland Octopad that Ed and Shane would have used to record that drum track. That drum track's actually a programmed drum.
It's amazing. Back in the 1900s, they had that sort of thing.
Yeah, early it was mid 1900s.
Oh, man.
It is weird to think we're in the 20s right now. Like,
Oh, no.
people
I
look
mean-
back, it's like,
I know.
we lived in the 20s.
I know.
It's so
I know,
weird.
man.
I know it. Well, Will
I
knows.
was commenting on Sister Hazel's page the other day. They were at Chicago House of Blues, and I remember playing Y2K at Chicago House of Blues with them. And man, that seems like a long
I saw
time
Sister
ago.
Right.
Hazel in concert. Yeah,
They
Why
were just
two?
down
About
here.
him in forever.
Sister
yeah.
Hazel was
Yeah,
down
they
here
were.
Just down
Sweet.
here. They were.
Yeah.
Sweet.
They were.
I did see that after it already
We
happened.
need more musicians on here, you know me. So we get some
that's
more.
right. We got to have you. We're going to have you come back and start being a regular or something, man. That was a nice little name drop there, Sister Hazel.
Yeah.
Well, you know, Will knows though that the Collective Soul. I mean, we're friends, but prior to us being friends, I mean, you're a little bit older than me, not crazy amount of years older, but you would have graduated high school
45?
about the time that. Oh, did you hear that? That's how you treat a
45,
guest.
right?
That's how you treat a guest
old are
right
you?
there.
45.
That's how you treat a guest. I know his age. I ain't gonna say it. But Will knows this. He knows this before we became friends. I mean, he was out of high school by the time I was kind of going into high school, and but they were like the soundtrack of my high school. I mean, and you were the soundtrack of a lot of people's high schools back then.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you guys, it's amazing. You're on your 30-year tour.
This
That
is
is crazy.
30th anniversary tour.
30th anniversary tour. I mean, that's amazing. And we're going to dive into a little bit of that. I do want to get our section of new news. New news. Does anybody have any new news they'd like to share with our audience abroad before we dive in?
I mean, I just got back from Orlando. We did a fantasy football draft down there.
Yeah, I mean, you're still doing that stuff.
I know.
travel
I mean, I
all the
feel
way.
like that's almost
dude.
done.
6
I
hours
know.
for a draft.
Well, we got a draft where the person that won last year, we drafted in their hometown. We're all went to high school together, but we're all spread
Well,
out now.
it makes it better since you're doing it the way you're doing it.
we do
Otherwise,
it in
it just
person.
feels like
Yeah.
fantasy football. I mean, it's a cool thing, but it feels like it's faded out a little bit.
Not, I say quite the opposite.
Is that right?
It's as strong as ever.
Yeah, because
Really?
of DraftKings and all that.
Okay.
Yeah, the apps make it too easy, and especially with DraftKings,
Mm-hmm.
now you're able to do some fantasy football and weekly.
You can do weekly. Yeah.
what you're wagering kind of thing, you know.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay, fair play.
Yeah.
I'm not in
Underdog.
Okay,
It's
I get
awesome.
it.
I'm
dude.
not in it.
One note, I got to take you back to 1996.
Yeah.
when if you were the commissioner of your fantasy football league, you had to wait until Monday Night Football was over to read that newspaper and get
yeah.
those clippings. 'cause
Manually
there was
Oh, is
no
that right?
internet.
Yeah.
There was
There
no
was no
internet.
doing all that. I don't know if Will goes all the way back to 96.
I do.
All right, so you know the struggle of knowing it. You didn't know if you
Struggle
won
was
until
real.
Wednesday.
And even just changing your lineup became like, I was like, okay, guys, I think I did 2 years of the old school way. But yeah, man, you would have to call your buddy and be like, hey, man, I just left a voicemail. I hope it's time.
Right? I was ahead of that guy.
Thank God
I
we
got
didn't
ahead
do
of
it
that
then.
guy for my drop-in ad.
That's so good.
We already have so many asterisks on our trophy. I couldn't imagine doing it back then. That'd be the asterisk.
Now,
every year.
do you guys do anything for the loser? I mean,
Yeah, well, they're
is there,
they're
some
the
embarrassment
bartender
tour?
at the draft. So we call them the beer bitch. So the whole year they have to get us drinks.
Nice.
So we don't do nothing crazy like golfing and dressing.
I
Or
went-
get a tattoo?
I went to
no, because I wouldn't do that. Yeah.
I went skiing one time in, I think it was Vail or someplace like that, is years ago with the kids, and I guess it was after football season, and this guy came through on a Speedo, nothing but a Speedo, and in the back he had like whatever paint on the back,
Yeah,
and
they
said,
marked
"I
it.
lost this fantasy football."
Yeah.
And so he had to
better to-
ski down the slope.
It's worse to lose
and,
than to
and he had to eat. He had to eat in the lunch. You know, like how they have
Oh,
like
my
Mid Mountain, and everybody's there to get their lunch at Mid Mountain. It's hundreds of people. He had to sit at the table by himself with his helmet and goggles on and eat his.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good ones. We were talking about doing the Waffle House challenge, the 24 hours, 24 waffles. Whatever you did first. And I was like, I'd just sit there.
Use
for
the
24
bathroom?
hours. Yeah, I would just sit there for 24 hours. There's no way you
Fantasy's alive and well.
can eat. Oh, yeah, it's doing good.
Yeah, for sure. Will, you got any crazy fantasy?
Will, what's
football
your
loser
what's your
stories?
fantasy football team name? You got one?
Yeah. I got 4 this year.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I got one with Southside Steve and some other.
Yeah.
I'm in one with some Braves guys.
Awesome.
Medlin and Chipper was in it one year. He's not in it now.
You got
yeah, man.
Rocker?
That one's called Soul Will Roll.
Soul Will Roll.
That's a good
and
one.
Will.
Yeah,
you know.
I like it. That was a good one. Soul Will Roll. Well, if you see that one out there, watch out.
My BS, like favorite one, shit talking type, and my buddies. My team is oh man, what's it's Yuta Manziel. That I thought that was
God,
it was
Johnny
so
Manziel.
good that I kept it, even though Manziel's out of the.
No,
he's
but
out
that's
of the-
too good.
No, you gotta
That's
keep
too
that.
good.
Yeah.
He was
That's
so
too
good
good.
that one year, though. Golly, that one year.
College?
When he was in college?
Yeah, when he was in college, yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he win
For
the
sure.
Heisman, I believe? I mean, he
a
was
cowboy,
awesome
man.
that
For
year.
sure.
That guy, he could whatever he touched.
Oh, yeah, it was crazy.
Well, I always feel like switching topics here of news for me is I'm traveling tomorrow. I'm going to New York tomorrow. We're going to take in the U.S. Open. We're doing a night match. We're doing a day match.
Oh,
It's
nice.
on Danielle's bucket list.
That's why she was watching tennis downstairs.
She's been a big tennis player for forever.
Okay.
And
nice.
so she's always
cared.
wanting to go to the U.S. Open, and then our youngest daughter's playing tennis as well. So she's wanting to go. So we're going with Soph. We're going to take in a Broadway show. A couple days at the U.S. Open, and then I've got a partner in business. His son's getting married in Jersey.
yeah, I remember.
So we got to go to that wedding, which should be a great time. So shout out to my boy Tommy, man, I got to get him on. He worked. He used to do watches with like LVMH and stuff like that.
No,
Louis
made
Vuitton
watches?
and all, made
Oh.
watches all across the globe. I mean, one of the largest
That's
watch
interesting.
manufacturers in the world. So I got to get old Tommy on though. He was crushing it back in the day. But now any new news?
Will,
Any new
does
news?
Will got anything?
Will, you got any new
Will,
news? Yeah, we should actually. This is your time. Do you want to say? Well, you can also do it. I'm going to give you a second afterwards to tell us what's going on with Collective Soul after this game we're about to play. So I'll give you if you're ready. I'm going to put you on the hot seat.
All right.
All right, we're going to put you on the hot seat. Now, normally, let's see. Let me make sure I get on the right bank here. Ugh. I'm so
This is
off.
your first
so,
podcast,
I know it's my
dude.
first.
Come on,
We're
man.
just a $10 podcast here, man. So I normally will set a clock that would sound like this, but in honor of you, we're going to do something totally different. I'm going to set the clock, and we're going to play. It is now time to play. What the hell do I know with Will Turpin? All right. So 7 questions, rapid succession. You can pass if you want to. And here I'm going to put on Will's.
And they're all to me.
They're all
the
to you.
questions?
All
Yeah.
to you. And I'm going to put on Will's special clock. Let's see if you recognize this one. All right.
Okay, I thought you were asking what songs this was.
Like it's December time.
Number 1. When did you start playing music?
I think my first piano lessons were around 7 years old, and then drums would have been around that same time, around 7.
Perfect. Number 2, what is your favorite sea? And by the way, if you're a Collective Soul fan, you can say this. What is your favorite Sea Soul song to play?
My favorite song to play. Honestly, we've got this really cool extended guitar solo section that we've worked out with Jesse Triplett.
Yeah.
Who's been with us over a decade now. And every time we get to December, I can't wait because of that section. We've made that song about 7 minutes long now.
Oh, it should be. It's such a great.
Great.
That song, when it comes on, you hear the riff, you know what it is straight away. Number 3, if you could play any venue again, which one would it be? Which you probably played most of these multiple times at this point. But
yeah, I played a lot of them multiple times. Well, everybody likes to go back to Red Rocks as many times as they can. I mean, that's kind of overstated. It's kind of the easy answer at this point. But I mean, God made that place, man. I tell people that
it's beautiful there.
You had to, of course, they had to level off and terrace where the seats are. But when you're backstage, there's no wood. They bored it out of rocks.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
see conduit and electrical going around, but it's all just how God made it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Number four, favorite thing about being a dad.
Favorite thing about being a dad. The memories. I guess for me, it was the sports memories and watching them excel. Anytime I get to watch them excel at anything is my favorite thing.
That's a great answer, by the way. That's a great answer. Number 5, favorite band that toured with you.
Oh, that's easy. There's been a lot of good ones.
I know there has.
And I wouldn't say they toured with Collective Soul. I'd say we toured with them. The 95 tour with Van Halen really changed our trajectory.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's big. Who was the lead singer then?
The way they treated us, it was a big deal. Who
was the lead singer of Van Halen then?
That was Hagar.
Oh, that's Hagar.
That was Balance tour.
Yep.
And that would have been the last official, Van Hagar.
Yep. Gotcha.
They did come back and play more shows later, but,
Gotcha. Okay. Number 6. You ride your bike a lot on tour. What has been your favorite bike?
My favorite bike was probably the original, man. The one that I bought in probably 96 or 97, a Rocky Mountain out of Vancouver. Really cool Canadian company. So
Shout out
Rocky
Mountain.
Hardtail, man. It's the original, so that's my favorite.
Very cool. What are you biking with now?
Right now, it's a 29er Specialized, and I just, to be honest with you,
Specialized.
Got this really badass scooter.
Yeah. Well, you're also
lithium battery works really well, man.
You're also a little older than 45 now.
Everybody's on the e-bikes these days.
Yeah. E-bike everywhere.
Number 7, biggest influence in your life.
Well, I got a lot of great musical influences growing up.
You can do personal music, whatever.
Yeah, but because of how it all happened, I'm my father's oldest son, and I was around instruments, and he influenced me and taught me how to go certain angles. So it definitely have to be my father.
Oh man, your dad was a dude too. I mean, he played in our church when we had a little 5. I loved your dad, man. Yep. He was amazing. Well, you are officially off the hot seat. I messed up there. I hit the wrong button, but that's what it's
Shine, man. Come on.
I did. I went to Shine. And but it's my fault, man. I messed up.
How much are you paying yourself to do this podcast?
There's the applause. There's the applause. All right, great job. I know. I'm paying myself. Well, I'm waiting. The Chicken Cocks and Ultimate Humans are here.
Not a bad payment.
They're really excited about the way that I handle this thing sometimes. But hey, actually, you did great, man. And I just want to say, your dad, he had this great mustache too.
Yeah.
Oh man, I know. We'll find a picture of him in the what was his band? The band he had.
The band that was kicking ass in the 80s. Man, they were selling 350, 500 tickets. Unsigned, but it was called Real People.
Real People, yeah, man. He was, but then even in his later life, there was a funny name he had to his band. I can't remember what it was called.
The cover band that he would do for like corporate parties.
Like
Frankly Scarlet.
Yeah, okay.
as Frankly Scarlet, I don't give a damn.
I like that.
He was. They were so good, man. Oh my gosh, he came up and played at the church one time with us. I mean, Will played at the church several times with your son Tristan when he was probably in. He's probably in like middle school back then. If I can find that video, we'll have a B-roll of that going too, because that was really cool. Y'all played some Avett Brothers and some stuff like that. Y'all did some really cool stuff there. That was a lot of fun.
That video in a while. I thought we did when I remember listening to the video, and I'd like to hear that again.
Yeah, well, he's what's he doing these days? I know he's in school somewhere, right? Or he was.
He's hanging out here a little bit at the studio. They started recording some stuff. All three of the brothers. Tristan's a great songwriter, great musician, and he coaches soccer for club soccer. He loves coaching kids.
That's awesome. Yeah. Is he with the lighting program, or is it now like Atlanta Fire? Okay. I was going to say, I know there's like several newer clubs that have come along since our days.
Yeah.
And even
in your
his
day,
days,
was solid 5 clubs. I didn't play soccer
in all of Atlanta. In all of Atlanta, maybe 5 clubs, and Atlanta Fire was not one of them. Yeah. So it was like lightning and steamers, and we just didn't. There weren't many other clubs out there. We would travel other states to play than to be able to do all that. So for sure. So, this is now the time, though. I want to give you a few seconds. You can tell us what you guys are going on tour, anything you've got new coming out, or anything you've got new at Reel to Reel. I wanted to give you a little second to promote whatever you've got going on after you've come off the hot seat.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, man, there's always something going on. Thank God, right? It's like ask the person who's not busy. But, I see open days in my calendar, and I start filling them in, and then sometimes I regret it. But for the most part, it's great to be busy, but you can always check collectivesoul.com or the socials. And I don't know when this comes out, but we're finishing up an awesome tour. It's been freaking talking about like 30 years. It's been so cool to like hang out with guys, professionals that we all met 30 years ago. All 3 of us were signed to Atlantic Records in 1994.
Wow.
Hootie and the Blowfish and Edwin McCain.
Oh, that's cool.
We're all on tour. 45 dates this summer. We're down to probably our last 20 dates, so you can check those out. It's such a super cool tour. I think the whole vibe backstage is tangible to everybody out front. Yeah. We're selling a shit ton of tickets, man. We're selling out 30,000 seat amphitheaters.
Wow.
It's freaking awesome.
That's what I love about you guys is you're not intimidated by, I saw you in Tampa not too long ago, and you're so gracious. You got my wife and I back. I want to tell a little bit of that story. In fact, we'll just jump into it. So Will's like the band director for Collective Soul. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know, and I don't want to step on any of your bandmates, but I just feel like you kind of pull things together sometimes.
I'm the glue. That's a good way to say it. I'm the glue, and I check everything off.
That's right. But Will is so gracious to his friends. So anytime I've ever come to Collective Soul, I mean, I'll text him wherever it is, and He gets me hooked up in backstage, and of course we're friends, so it's always great to just see him. Especially when it's not somewhere in Atlanta. And so we were in Tampa seeing Jackson, and went and saw it. I can't even remember the name of the theater there, but it's a theater for old people. I love the fact that it's because it has these comfy seats. Okay. Like you go to so many theaters, this had a nice back to the seat, and it was. I mean, I was out of it most of the time, but it was a great theater. In fact, John Mellencamp I had seen there maybe 6 months before that.
Gotcha.
And do you remember the name of that theater there?
I do know the name of that theater. I can't remember right now. It's a pretty popular theater. There's listeners that live in Tampa area that know exactly what we're talking about.
Yes. But, I can't think of it. If I think of it,
it's on the tip of my tongue.
I know.
We should show it up on the screen after.
Yeah, it's in Ybor City or something?
No, it's in like St. Pete.
Okay.
But it's a cool thing. But it's like 5,000 seats. So these guys aren't intimidated. They're crushing it. Sold out in 5,000. But then you can go to 30,000 seats, and they'll crush it there too. So you guys, I just love that about you guys and how you get to your fans and what you do. But he's always great. And so the last time I saw him in Tampa, though, we were sitting there, and he was telling me, stage right, stage left. And you got to understand, if you're looking at the stage, the audience, or if you're looking at the stage, which one he's going to be on to understand that. So we went over to the stage. I guess it was his stage left to wait on him, and some ladies were there. And it's just Danielle and me, and we were trying to get backstage, And so we're waiting, but they could tell we were waiting to go in through the side door, and they're kind of like, "Are you going backstage?" I was like, "Well, I know we want to go backstage too." And I was like,
sure do.
Danielle was giving me the side eye. She was like, "There is zero chance you're gonna." And I was like, "No, Will
You're
would
not
not
doing
do
it. I know what's in your mind, Jason. You're not going to do that.
No, I'm not doing that. There is zero chance." But I knew those were not the ladies you wanted to bring back.
They just wanted some autographs, dude.
They wanted some.
That's
That's
all
all
they
they
wanted,
wanted.
man.
That's all they wanted. They just wanted some autographs, right? But you're always.
It's not the same as when we were young. We used to party a lot more when we were young.
It's pretty tame. It's pretty tame back there. It's really chill. You guys were you were touring, or they were touring with you because they opened for you. It's the group that's Switchfoot. Switchfoot was opening for you then. Yeah, which was a cool
seen them
band to
before.
see.
And just another great band that we got to meet them and know them more after touring for a whole summer. But y'all mentioned Tristan earlier. That would have been Tristan's favorite band growing up, and we shared the love of Switchfoot together.
That's cool.
And then we got to go on tour with them, and Tristan got to really meet some of his heroes. And
That's awesome.
yeah, man,
That's awesome.
a lot of people talk about, or they wonder if bands get along, or if there's, for the most part, as artists and musicians, we can only really do what we do, right? So when you come at it with that attitude, there's no jealousy or we're gonna kick this band's ass or da da da.
All right.
It just doesn't work like that.
No.
So almost all these bands that we're great friends with, it's like we're in a fraternity a little bit,
sure.
and we appreciate what each other do, and we bond together on that level. But and even on tour, I had a night off just now in Kansas City.
Yep.
And got to go hang out with Switchfoot. They were on
that's
tour
awesome.
with Matt Nathanson and Blue October.
Very cool. That's actually very cool. They've been doing it quite a long time too, by the way. I mean, I feel like after you guys, they're 25. Are they 20 years? Between 20 and 25
I bet
years,
they're
right?
25.
Okay,
They're solid 25. I bet they're barely over 25. If I had to guess.
Yeah.
Man, they work hard, dude. They wore us out. They agreed to a tour that was basically 5.5 shows a week. We were hitting 11 shows every 2 weeks, and we were collective soul. We were all like, "Yeah, cool, we'll do it." And then our asses were whipped. Man.
Me all the time.
That is great. No,
Those guys have
harder.
a motor, man, and their live performance is great.
Yeah, no, they do a great show. You guys do a great show. Every time I go there, one of my favorite shows that I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of your shows, but I always feel like you, and this could just be me because you said Red Rocks hypes you up some, but the Tabernacle, like you guys when you played the Tabernacle, it always feels. I don't know.
My hair's standing up right now just thinking about it.
It's the way the Tabernacle is in it just feels like even when you're in the balcony, you're almost on top of the band. The way that balcony goes up. And then it's all Atlanta folks, and half the audience is like your best friend.
Love.
Yeah,
man. It's cool to come. Everybody knows it's your hometown, and they actually, you can tell they're fans, but they're actually proud of you for coming from Atlanta.
Right.
And that's like a different feel that you don't get anywhere except Atlanta.
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of different.
Right. The Symphony was also another one that was really good when they played with the Atlanta Symphony.
Oh,
pretty interesting. Cool. There's videos of it. Definitely should check that out if you want to check that out, because that was also and you come from a background that is very musically trained. I mean, can you kind of take us through the quick synopsis of you guys, you not being in the band and then being in the band, which really quick, I'll give a shout out to FSU, who had a very bad weekend this weekend.
Yeah, well, so he was telling me I'm from
FSU
Tallahassee
fan,
originally. I'm a huge Seminole, and he told me he went to school there, and I wasn't going to bring this up, but yeah.
Well, I mean,
it was a bad
I'm a
weekend.
dog, so
I think Georgia Tech and Georgia are playing the national title game. I'm calling it right now.
Holy
That's your national
Watch
title
it now.
game.
Watch it now.
Georgia, hey, it's the state of Georgia.
Go put that Vegas bet on now.
Yeah, right. Hey.
Man.
I don't even know what the odds are.
It
But
would
they're
be, you'd win a
astronomical.
lot.
You should parlay that anyway. 'Cause
You'd
you're
win
gonna
a
win
lot.
that one.
Yeah.
You'd win a lot.
For sure. So maybe you can give us a synopsis of you guys, because I think it was your brother, and I'm going to say this a little bit, and you can then I want to give you the mic. But one of your brothers was telling me that he watched you guys play in the Star Bar in Little 5 Points, and it seemed like the next weekend or something you were at Woodstock.
Yeah, it happened quick for Collective Soul.
Yeah, so maybe you can take us back to your musical. I know we talked a little bit about your dad and growing up with reel to reel, but maybe you can give us a little synopsis all the way through.
Yeah, I mean, it's, and this is a good plug, but it'll be about a year from now. The official Collective Soul documentary will be out.
Oh, good.
Yes.
That's going to be
Is this a What the Hell Do I Know? Is this a What the Hell Do I Know with JB exclusive?
Exclusive.
But yeah, man, that'll be out soon. But yeah, music, the side room of our home was a rehearsal space for my dad's band. Our dining room table was always a drafting board because he was building a studio or building an echo chamber, and so I grew up with all these creative, artistic things, and I grew up with an attitude of, if you can get a book and read about it, there was obviously no Google,
Right.
Or YouTube.
Right.
If you can get a book, read about it, and other humans have done it, then my dad's attitude was that I can do it, and so I came from that attitude, and then I was just
brilliant.
Yeah, great.
I soaked up every instrument. It didn't matter what instrument it was. I kind of liked it. Piano at a young age. A lot of kids, parents will put them at piano at 7 years old. It's just so laborious, and I get it because it can be laborious when you're starting to learn things. But I soaked it up, and I loved it. And same thing with drums and drum set. So.
Yeah,
I was mainly a percussionist and drummer through most of my life. I picked up a guitar and a fretboard, started to learn a fretboard right around 13 years old. But it all made sense. It all looks like a piano in my head, no matter what instrument I'm playing.
Yeah.
I could be playing a harmonica, and in my mind, it's the notes are on a keyboard.
Right. Right.
So I went to Florida State on a full percussion scholarship. That was the deal. I applied all across the East Coast and Midwest, all the way up into like Rochester and Eastman School of Music, Indiana Conservatory, and basically being we were basically I didn't want for anything, but it was a lower middle class lifestyle. My dad's depending on musicians to pay the bills.
Yeah.
You said enough.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that right there. Let's just stop there.
Yeah, we got it.
But the recording studio used to hum, man. He had that thing busy, and he raised a family on a recording studio and his own income from playing live. But I basically took the most money, and I was happy to go to Florida State. I did like that school, biggest school of music in the Southeast. Mm-hmm. So I loved it there. Moved back to Atlanta after 2.5 years at Florida State because of a girl.
Yeah. Well, that part I believe's worked out. So.
Oh yeah, if it's a wife, it worked out.
Because of my best friends who became Collective Soul, and the girl is Donna, and we're still married and have 2 kids. So
That's awesome.
That's amazing.
Wait, did you go to Florida State when Bert Kreischer was there? Wasn't he?
Bert? Oh, so talking about a little older. Bert's even a little older.
Oh, is it? Okay, I didn't know.
Was he Bert?
Yeah,
He was like 90.
Now you're insulting.
He was there forever. But
He's got like 6 degrees.
He was early 90s.
For a word of caution.
Okay. Here's a damn good story for y'all's podcast.
Okay, here we go.
I did go to school there when Gabriella Reese was there.
Yes. Yeah. She's a hottie.
All right. So not only was it really close to where we lived, I lived right on Stadium Drive at some scholarship houses.
Okay.
I was in E.C. Allen was the name of our house. So there would have been like 16 guys and an RA in each one of those houses. There's probably 6 or 8 of those houses over there on Stadium Drive, and they're still there. But we'd walk over to watch the women's volleyball because Gabrielle Reese was on the team. She was a senior when I was a freshman, and it was free to get in with your student ID, and we could have a few beers and go.
Yeah.
So here's the funny story. I'm on remember the old skinny tire 10-speed. I'm on campus with my backpack.
I love it.
Class.
I love this.
It had rained that morning, but it was all clear. Everything was clean. And across the promenade, this big walking area, there's big wide, but I see her. I see Gabriella Reese coming from the other way.
Oh,
and I'm sitting there on 10-speed, nice little curly handles, And I'm like,
Here we go.
Oh, this is not going well.
and I saw a little puddle in front of me. I thought we were on cement, and it was going to be a tiny little puddle.
Yeah.
Well, underneath that little layer of water was about this much sand, right?
No. Stuck like glue.
And you know what happens when your 10-speed tire hits that?
flipped over.
I believe you went over the front.
You went flying.
Did she do
I
mouth to
wasn't
mouth?
going fast. It just curled up underneath me.
Physics
And there
says
I
you
am.
keep going forward.
Oh no.
Right. I mean, she had to see me. She definitely saw me. Kept walking.
Oh, she
And there
kept
I am,
walking.
man.
Does she know
Dude,
this
the
story?
back
We gotta
I
ask
went
her this
back to
story.
my house.
Well-
Yeah, dude, I went back to my house, started drying out my books. I'm like, shit. And I was actually going to go to class that day. What do you know?
Oh my goodness.
Well, and if it wasn't for that story, you might have connected with her, and then Donna
Yeah.
and Collective Soul would never have happened.
I thought you were going to
So
say
I
Gabrielle
mean, so
gave mouth to mouth.
thank goodness that the 10-speed bike
Right.
was there. I
Right.
mean,
I don't
serendipity.
It changed
Musicians
everything.
are her- I don't think skinny musicians are her thing.
Yeah.
Is she married to a surfer? Is
She's
that
like
who I'm thinking
Kelly
about?
Slater? Is that
Yeah,
right?
I think that's right. I
No,
think
no,
that's
it's
right.
not Kelly Slater.
Oh, it's not? Okay.
It's not Slater, but you're close.
Yeah,
You're
but it
super
is
close.
surfer though, right? It is a surfer. No, that
And that, she worked for MTV, and guess who I got to sit in with the interview with?
No way.
Yes.
About 5 years
Did
after
you
that.
tell
I
her
said,
that?
"Yeah."
Did you tell her
I
the
gave
story?
her a quick
That's-
version
Yeah.
of that.
Did she
story.
remember it all?
She had no recollection,
She
right?
didn't remember anything.
How do you not remember somebody eating it though like that? I would definitely remember that. I'd be like, oh, I remember that day. Somebody
that guy.
eats it on a
She's
10
like,
speed.
he ate it like a rock star.
Yeah. I mean, over the handlebar, you got to remember
I
that.
feel like that could be a song.
Eat it like a rock star.
That is so good, man. What a great story.
That
I know
is a
you
great
got.
story.
I know you have some incredible stories about on tour, and there's probably hundreds of them you can't tell us. You know, we're kind of like PG-13. I mean, we're like rated R at this point.
PG-13 now is nudity, I think.
PG-13 is
Family
probably the right spot. So it's there.
We saw a lot of extreme decadence, and
Sure
it's
you
not because of us. It's because of it's mainly because of people worth hundreds of millions, or one guy in particular was a billionaire.
Yeah.
Cover of Forbes.
Yeah.
It's because of those people that want to hang around rock stars and they invite you to
Yeah.
Yeah.
their deals.
No, it gets those guys live in
talking
a
about
different
JB?
world.
Who-
No, not me. I mean, I know. Hey,
billionaire,
I've had the opportunity to meet a few billionaires, and let's just say they're not many of them I like. But
I haven't found one I like yet.
but I mean, it's a tough. You get kind of. I think when you get in that world, you probably start
done
thinking
it-
to yourselves
you've done
like,
it all.
well, I'm a king.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
what can
yeah.
you not do? What can you not do?
Yeah.
You know.
Well, you get to think of it and imagine it. And if you're a wild ass crazy one,
Yeah.
you can.
Yeah.
There's all kind of shit that they can think of. Trust me.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, we got there's so many things running through my head.
There's so many ways.
And now, time for the commercial break.
I didn't know where JB's mind is.
Oh no, it's clean. It's clean.
You said you're
folks.
going to New York
it's a
tomorrow
clean
to hang out with a
folks.
billionaire.
It's
I
a,
don't
no
know.
way.
That's what I
It's
heard,
a
a
clean,
billionaire
clean
wedding.
folks. Clean
We're going to
mind.
have Will
Clean
on more often.
I know he's a lot of fun, especially when you start drinking that rock and roll bourbon. So how do you guys stay pumped to continue doing music for 30 years?
Good question, JB.
Man, creating and being an artist is something that's just part of us. So that's just kind of always in us, right? We just released a new record
Right.
3 months ago, and it's as fresh and as hip. It took us a long time, but finally we're the critics' darling now. I mean, anything we do, they just can't believe. And like, wow, how are you guys doing this so much later? I always tell people Ed's songwriting, the prolificness of his songwriting, and then the skill involved that, he belongs amongst the best of our era, of our peers.
I totally agree. Totally agree.
But man, it's literally and this is something we end up saying on stage every night too, man. We start thanking everybody. We do this big monologue on Run where we're just vamping over the chords and I'm trying to do some Pink Floyd stuff in the background, and Ed's thanking everybody, and the last people we think, and we come at it kind of blindside everybody, but the last people we thank everybody in the audience for allowing us to be artists for 30 years.
Yeah.
And if we didn't get on stage and play these songs and they weren't like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. If that wasn't there, if it wasn't the soundtrack to their lives, if all those memories weren't attached to their, I mean, look, we got three generations at our shows all the time, man.
Yeah.
We got people who they're missing. Who, we hear the stories. You know, my father's not around. Y'all were his favorite band or whatever. But if it wasn't for all those connections, I don't think we'd still be able to find the inspiration to do it. I know that we're artists and we love creating, and it's still part of us. But I don't think we'd find the inspiration without I guess you use the word fans,
Yeah.
Fans, friends, just whatever that is. That's what gives you the drive to want to do more.
No doubt. I mean, you guys do it, and it's amazing how, they don't come off as these old, dads from the 1900s.
Yeah.
They are still rocking out on stage. Are you still jumping?
Nah.
You stopped jumping
With the red shoes?
Come on, the red shoes and everything.
I'm popping around, but
The jump's over.
I decided to give the jump up before the jump gave me up.
Good call.
No
Good call.
hammies, no Achilles.
Good call.
Yeah, you don't want to have a more embarrassing story than hitting a 10-speed hitting a puddle.
No, you want to keep it.
Below your knee out on stage.
And I think it's stories like that probably keep you grounded. You can help me. You can tell me if I'm wrong here, but I mean, this guy's in the Georgia Music Hall of Fame.
Oh, nice.
I mean, your whole band is. I mean, you kind of got to pinch yourself when you're reaching these upper echelons of the Hall of Fames like this. I mean, how do you stay grounded? I mean, aside from flipping a 10-speed bike in front of Gabrielle Reese.
Super grounded. Super
That'll
grounded.
do it.
Full of myself right now. I might need Gabby to come back by the studio.
You're listening to What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB with ADHD. Elemental B. Anyway, back to the show.
I mean, I don't know. We're humble individuals. We all came from simple beginnings, and at the end of the day, we're artists and musicians. I mean, why shouldn't we feel any different than anybody else, man? I don't know. I think that's just your personality. I
think you're right.
I think you have to use techniques to keep yourself grounded. You're already not grounded. You know what I mean?
Right. No, you're right. Well, and I think you've said it earlier, the close knit of your family. I mean, and I want to get into that a little bit, but I think there's something into that keeps you humble, and not just your family abroad. I mean, I'm talking about your immediate family is really close. We're going to talk about that, but I don't know if everybody and your fans would know this, but he's a real humble father and family guy. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what I love about Will. I mean, if you want to find Will when he's not on tour and he's not in the studio, he's with his family. And that's what I love.
That's how it should be.
When they were younger, man.
Yeah.
When they were younger, we can talk about this later too, but I spent a lot of time here at the studio. When they were younger, I didn't, man. I got off tour. I would be home.
Yeah.
I would come home for 18 hours all the time when I could. I mean, that brings us to another subject as far as like travel and dealing with it all.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
Yeah.
We had no idea when we were young kids that Delta Airlines and being next to the busiest airport in America would mean so much in our lives because I was able to make a lot of things that would have been very tough if you had to connect every time.
No doubt, right? Yeah. I didn't even think about that. No doubt. No
one would think about that when you're a kid.
Number one hub in the world for Delta, and you could get almost direct from any city to Atlanta. Yeah, that's huge. I didn't even think about that.
Tertiary city, I can get home with direct.
Yeah. That is really cool. That's actually amazing.
That's something smart to think about if you are in that industry, right?
Oh, for sure.
For traveling. That's actually
for sure. I mean, there's a lot of people that do it differently. I mean, he's talking about coming back on flights in Atlanta, but
but I mean,
he knows the guys. Casting Crowns is from the same group, Christian genre, but from the same hometown. After you guys. But they used to always have a tour bus that would pull in, Saturday night. So they were there on Sundays, And in fact, I think they just did a documentary called Home on Sundays. What's the name of the documentary? So you check it out. But
that's awesome.
But yeah, so real quick, we got to get a shout out. This is our shout out to our Optimal Human sponsors. We're going to do our Optimal Human chug now. Will, I should have sent you some Optimal Human. I'll have to get it up your way. Optimal Human. Good. Optimal Human is specifically formulated to provide a blend of essential vitamins, minerals, and specialized nutrients. This unique combination supports various aspects of your well-being, including gut health, immune support, and cognitive function. OptimalHuman.com/JB for 50% off your order. So here we go, guys.
Will's going to play us a song while we go.
Optimal.
Oh, I love it.
Here we go.
It's a race. Ready? 1, 2, go.
Optimal Human for me and you. It's Optimal Human. There you go.
I don't know how they can drink it so fast. You drink it so fast.
Well, I'm done, baby. That was it. Optimal.
I'm gonna leave mine in case I get
on the bottom.
Need a drink later.
We've got a good friend of ours. He came on the pod, man. He is really blowing up. It's a lot like he compares it a lot to AG1 but he was like, I can do this in house in Arkansas, so it's U.S. made, U.S. done, and,
Right on.
and putting it out there, and it's a lot
really
of the same
good.
stuff. It tastes kind of like sweet tea.
I'm down
which
60
is really
pounds in a
different.
month.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
60.
Six. All right, let's watch that. Let's slow down there. There would not be any of you
I do
left.
feel like I'm 37 now, 47. I
Yeah.
feel like,
Yeah.
all right, 10
I ran
years.
a 4.240.
Juice is a little full of BS today.
No, it is great stuff. Yeah.
So now is Juice's favorite part of the day.
Don't do it.
Except for I've changed it up first time ever on the pod. I always have quote of the day by Tay Tay. Just because Taylor Swift, I'm a girl dad, and my girls love Taylor Swift.
And she's
I
got a
think
lot of takes.
she's got a lot of songs with a lot of interesting stuff on it. And hey, look, she's doing it well. I mean, Will's got to appreciate her artistry.
Yeah, we're good.
But
Absolutely,
today,
man, she writes her own tunes, man.
that's right.
Unbelievable.
She writes a lot of people's tunes.
That's
I
right.
mean, anything away from that girl, man.
That's
I mean,
exactly right.
she has reached a level of, you can't really dial that type of thing up.
Right.
Yeah.
But her artistry and everything that she does to herself or for herself and for her fans and for her people that she works with, man, she's an A+.
She
man.
she is. She really is. But today we're not doing quote of the day.
Wait, can
by
Will
Tay
get
Tay.
her on the podcast?
He might could. You never know. You're probably 3 degrees of separation, maybe.
Yeah, we can get it under 3 easy.
We can get it under-
I already know. Yeah, I'm good friends with her band leader that plays guitar.
There you
Done.
go. We got it.
Done.
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 She's
She's got a
supposedly
seat at
building a
our
house
pod,
down
Will,
here. Yeah.
anytime.
Let's just
Her and JT. But
Oh,
but I'm just excited to have Will Turpin on though. And
Oh, yeah,
today
that's all
we're
we do.
quote of the day by Collective Soul.
Oh, nice.
We'll see if Will knows where this one's from.
Okay.
I mined
You better
this out.
know.
I mined this out.
Okay.
It opens up. I believe the song starts with these words. So I walk up on high and I step to the edge to see my world below, and I laugh at myself while the tears roll down, 'cause it's the world I know. Oh, it's the world I know.
I like that.
I know where it's from. You know where it's from, Will.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's
Oh, yeah.
the world I know.
He'd prefer you to actually sing it.
Yeah, he
So
would
if you
prefer.
would-
He would not prefer.
Yeah,
No,
he
I
would
need, we
not
need to
prefer.
hear you to sing
I
it.
think all three of us sound.
Yeah.
I'm not going to butcher Ed's lyrics there. But I mean, it is an interesting take, and that's what you've said this earlier. That Ed should be on his peers, be considered on the same level of any songwriting out there, and these are the lyrics though that speak to you. They go a little bit further when it's not just the beat. I mean, the lyrical hit when you hear that song, or you hear
Everybody knows
December
that song.
or Shine. When that lick hits, you know what song it is, and you've got many others that are that way. But the lyric is so. I mean, it's so deep. To see this is the world you know.
What year did that song come out?
That would have been 95.
95.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah,
I thought that was my class song, actually. But I'm 98. I'm class of 98. So I
That was the.
I don't think it was.
Well, half the time the song was 3 years old anyway. I remember our song was Rod Stewart, "Forever Young," and it had been out 3 or 4 years.
I think
Yeah.
that might have been our class. I need to look at my yearbook now.
Rod Stewart, man, what a name drop. That guy's still singing, isn't he?
Dude, he's still doing it, man. And another soccer player.
Is
Yeah.
he?
Oh yeah, Scottish.
Yeah, I'll say he's from Europe, right? Yeah, Scottish.
Wow.
Scottish.
He is
Yeah,
from-
that
he's-
World I Know was off the Blue record, and we worked on a lot of those songs on tour in '94 because we just couldn't wait to get back in the studio. The first record was a little bit of a conglomeration of a bunch of different things. It wasn't really a band recording, so we jumped right back in the studio. And a year after that first one was released, we had our Blue record out, self-titled Collective Soul.
Yep.
Because of that reason, because that was our first really true band record, and yeah,
That's right.
included-
That was really considered the first, because I guess hence allegations and things left unsaid was recorded in Ed's basement or in the basement of Reel to Reel or whatever. I guess.
Yeah, no, I mean half of it was most of it was probably at Reel to Reel,
Right.
and the other half was some of it was done in the basement of the manager's house,
Gotcha.
who invested some money to help us get going.
Okay.
But yeah, man. So that second record, included December, World I Know.
Oh yeah, I mean, some amazing hits too. We were playing poker last Monday at Mike's Renovation Flooring, and he had like just a genre of kind of '90s, 2000s rock stuff going on. And I mean, Shine came on.
Yeah, Drake
December
put on a
came
playlist. What did he
It
put
was amazing. I had like 4 songs. I looked at, and Juice is playing poker then. I'm like, dude, we're literally having Will on like a week.
That's why
I was like, this is crazy that these songs are just popping up nonstop.
What is that power? The power of a song.
Oh, it does
Take you back.
Well, he
Oh,
just
you wanna talk about that?
yeah.
So,
let's talk
like,
about
let's
it. Will.
talk about that magic. What is that power?
Good question.
Let's start off. We'll go back to my father. We'll start off with a quote that my father used to say all the time. Music is the second most powerful force on earth, second only to love. Now, what it is,
Why is
hard
that,
to,
Will? What is
yeah,
the
what
thing
it
about
is,
music?
it's hard to define, but it becomes an individual experience, right? So, you boil it down, it's just emotion. That's what a song becomes, right? It just becomes, because it's frequencies hitting your ears, and then your ears are transcribing lyric, and they're feeling harmony and melody, and those things you can describe. You can use those things to describe a song, but it doesn't describe what music does for the human experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's almost magical. That
But
word
it
sounds
takes you back to the
How do you
time you
describe
heard
it?
it. It takes you. I mean, I can
Yeah, it
remember
triggers
some
memories.
of these songs that
to the
that
moment.
Will
To
would
the
have.
moment.
There's
Yeah.
To the moment you were in a
100%.
car someplace.
Yeah.
There were some other ones. We were playing not just Collective Soul, but we were playing. Oh gosh, I can't think of the guy's name now. I can't think. So there you go. I'm not going to give him a shout out. I can't think of their name right now. But I was listening to this the other day, and it took me right back around that same time to high school, and I can remember the problem that was going on in my life, or the chaos.
I can remember the
riding
window
in
was
your
down.
car.
in my
Was,
truck.
or-
I remember
Yeah.
the window down, how it
Yeah,
felt.
the smells.
The smells.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
wild how a
Yeah.
song can
Take
trigger
you back.
that
Yeah.
memory. It's
Yeah.
incredible.
Well, and then when they're
Yeah,
that
and
good,
there's no actual here's why it does it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And that's why it's magical, because we can't really truly describe how it's such a powerful man. There's clearly a number of instances where music has healed people.
Yeah.
yeah,
It is.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
And-
attitude does so much, right? In a hospital, they say like positive attitudes, things like that are so important, and music can bring that out, right?
Yeah, I finally heard a therapist for the first time that I was listening to. I was in my wife's car, so it was one of her satellite channels that was already on.
Okay.
It wouldn't have been my channel, but the therapist kept asking people, well, do you use music in your everyday life? Do you have music on in your house in the morning when you have your coffee? Do you play some of your? And she was actually recommending that to people, and that was one of the first times I'd heard that. But of course, man, yeah, it's
No, it's a big thing. We have some songs at our house, so we have Sonos through the whole house. Although I've got some issues with my Sonos right now, so Jesse, if you're listening to this pod, I got to get you over here and fix my Sonos. But with our house, Will, you got to come down here. You're invited anytime. But we moved on to the bay, as you guys know, and the back side of the house is all essentially glass, looking west out on that beautiful sunset. I'm blessed to live where we live. We have some of the best sunsets in the world here. They are absolutely incredible.
The one last night was sick.
And I should tell you why that is, but it is millennials of Stone Mountain limestone coming in and crashing down here and creating this emerald green area. And so all those hues are coming off, and when the clouds are just right, I mean, we just get some purples and oranges and reds and just all these colors. And we have songs that we'll play. If somebody's walking through the living room, they'll stop and play the song, and everybody then knows sunset time. It's like, stop what you're doing and come out and look at this sunset. So we do it with music all the time where we are. So I totally get that. Will, we've known each other for a while, and again, I've told you, Will's humble. He's generous. He's generous with his time, probably to a fault, your family may say. I don't know. Although you probably have good boundaries. You're probably getting good at boundaries.
I know how to tell people no.
You're getting good at boundaries. Well, which, by the way, that makes me feel. That makes
really
me feel.
You're making me sound too good, man.
Hey, by the way, that makes me feel really good. Then, Will, because we've done a lot of stuff together. I've been in the studio with you with Fowler, and we've gone up to Nashville sometimes, and I think y'all did a show up there. And one of my favorite things we ever did is we produced a Christmas cantata that was second to none, dude. This. Will and I and a couple other people that came in and helped us. I mean, it was called Rock the Cradle, The Night Hope Arrived. And we would pack out this theater in downtown Atlanta. when I think second or third year we did it, I think we had to have 3 shows or something like that. I think it was.
I think it was 2, but yes,
you're right. But it was like 3 or 4. We had seats coming out onto the stage, people in the wings.
Yeah.
I mean, you just couldn't fit enough people in this theater, and it was just so much fun doing that. And you wouldn't realize how many great things came from that. I mean, I can remember this one story we had one year, and I was loading in stuff, and you guys were probably setting up all the audio things you've got to do. And I remember this one lady came up to me and she said, "Hey, this homeless guy was in this theater, and it had been raining, and he had actually urinated himself and was wet, and and this guy was one of these guys that I walked out there and I didn't even have the heart to even want to talk to him. Mm-hmm. I mean, he smelled bad. He seemed like he had an attitude, and this Gina, she just took him to go get him coffee and was loving on him and taking care of him." And at some point he said, I'm done with this lifestyle. And he looked at her and he gave her this little dime bag of weed.
She's probably like, what in the world?
She came running to me. She goes, "What do I do with this?" And I was like, "Well, you smoke it."
You smoke it.
Oh, my God. That was not the answer I thought he was going to say.
You give it to me.
But I said, "Look,
let me dispose of it."
Well, I didn't want any of that nasty weed. I wanted the good stuff, right? So I said, throw it away, Gina. And she was like, "But it have my fingerprints."
Oh my God.
To which I was like, nobody cares about your fingerprints on this little baggie. I was like, just give it to me. So I wiped it down to her fingerprint.
It down, throw it away.
And threw it away.
Like the cops are fingerprinting bags of weed.
Yes, it was so good.
FBI will never find you now.
That's right.
They got it.
That's right. But now here's the cool part is I ended up calling a dude that had a rehab house and a halfway house and everything. And so after that show, my after party was in the hospital with Sam as he was detoxing to go into this rehab facility. And so we had many, many, many stories that people found hope through music and through the message of Christ. And but a lot of other amazing things. I mean, and Will, you were a massive part of that. And I can't thank you enough. I mean, it was an incredible show, though.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I remember that story, yeah.
Yeah, it was just an incredible story. And that's the one thing I know. You are a giver. But you said this earlier, you know how to tell people no. How do you select what to give to and what not? I mean, what are your criteria? What are you dealing with? And because you're getting asked 1,000 times every which way.
I just protect my own space and my own schedule when I feel like, it's I'm going to do my thing right now. It's
right.
That's it. It's simple as that. I'm always wanting to help and be around and do whatever. But I just protect my own space every now and then.
Right. Well, I think maybe it is you just have really good boundaries. You know what you need and what you can give, right? And then you just got to you can't give more than you can do.
You just got to trust your gut on that. I was going to ask you about the Christmas albums, though. It's funny you brought that up. How many have you done? Because I didn't know that was something you did. Do you have a bunch of them?
Yeah, and I still do an annual Christmas show.
That's
that really
what I think I saw when you did that.
From Rock Cradle. It's just not Rock the Cradle anymore. We had a nice little production going on.
Oh man! And then I moved.
Yeah. And we did. Yeah, and we did it at another church for a while. But now it's at a really cool live music venue, and I only play a handful of those traditional music songs. It's mainly a lot of Chuck Berry, Run Run Rudolph.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know if
Bruce Springsteen and stuff like that.
We ran all that through the same show.
Awesome.
We did a lot of the same stuff. I mean, you would have some things that would kind of weave itself into like a more faith type Christmas, but we were. I mean,
you do your
we were
originals,
open, Little Drummer Boy, but it's all rock. It was all the
Little
Wheels
Drummer
Take.
Boy was cool arrangement. I love that one.
Yes, and the lights would come on. They're pounding on the drums. One year you actually had Shane came back.
Shane Evans played with
you
for
1 year. Yeah, sure did.
Yeah. Shane was just down here in July. He came by and saw the studio.
How's he doing?
He's doing good.
That's good. I haven't talked to Shane since those days. I mean, it's been a minute. Yeah, is he still
Kansas City? He loves football, and he started following the Chiefs before they got on this run. So he just thinks.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's a Taylor Swift fan too. Then he's a Taylor Swift fan too. Then.
So I'm sure he knows they
gotta
just.
be.
You gotta be.
Part of Chiefs Nation, man.
Yeah, you gotta be now.
They're literally on their local television when they're advertising for the Chiefs. Like, it's a montage of different pictures.
Oh my gosh. They put
Chelsea.
Tay-Tay.
Guess what? Guess who's in the montage?
Tay-Tay, baby. Tay-Tay.
Oh man.
She's coming to Destin, baby. She's got to be coming. Her last song
That's the
just had
word.
she had the Destin
No,
one.
thought she's building the house.
My
right?
girls are 100%
We gotta
certain
find out.
she's not coming to Destin.
Well, I mean, Nashville, it's not crazy.
not out of the world.
She would be Jerry Jones' neighbor.
Jerry Jones
By the
has
way,
an
I saw
amazing
Jerry
house.
Jones' house the other day. Again.
It's an
I
amazing
walked
house.
down there.
It's an amazing
Does
house.
he ever come to that house?
I don't know, but it is the
It's
it is
gotta
one.
have six people working it.
It's
full
probably
time.
one of the best lots on the coast.
It's a monster house.
It's a monster
What
house.
in the world are you doing?
It's a
in that
monster.
house?
Well, and
It's a mini
and
mall.
Will, this particular house we're talking about is on the beach, and the closest condos to it or other property to it is 10-mile beach walk, east or west. So I mean, you really have to.
Yeah, State
You
Park
got to
on one
really
side.
want. It's State Park on one side. I mean, so it is, and there's a few other lots there. So that's the theory, is that if Taylor's coming, that's where she'd be going. It's one of the last unprotected lots along the Emerald Coast. So
It's a big home.
it's massive, but yeah, I don't think she's coming here. So
Man,
Will, you and your wife Donna have been together for a long time. You told a little bit of the story how you left FSU to come up, I guess, to Georgia State and up this way, and then start playing.
I was school of music at Georgia State.
Gotcha. And then Donna. Did you know Donna before FSU, or was it through some
Oh my God.
friends? How did y'all meet?
Donna grew up in the same town we did.
Yeah, I knew that.
Donna grew up across the street from Ed and Dean. So
Wow.
I
Ed
don't
and
know.
Dean.
Yeah,
Ed's,
this sounds good.
Ed's the lead singer. If you didn't know that.
Oh, that's
his brother
wow.
Dean's also in the band as
So
well.
this has been a very.
Oh, these
close
guys
ties.
grew up together. Yeah.
I mean, across
we
the
literally
street.
grew up together.
Literally
So
grew up together.
Not only do I not have a memory without knowing who Ed and Dean were, Donna doesn't have a memory without knowing who Ed and Dean were.
That's amazing.
It's just crazy, man. It's
That's
crazy.
amazing. But y'all been together for a long time, and I love the fact that a rock star like yourself can still be a family man. And we talked about the balance a little bit. I mean, you're coming in with you had direct flights, and you're learning how to create boundaries so that you can be at your kids' stuff and be there for your wife. But I mean, you guys have gone through some challenges yourself. I mean, you guys have had some health scares. I know Donna's gone through some health scares, and you've probably been fortunate. It sounds like, other than you're stopping the whole jump thing with the bass guitar, whatever. But maybe that's why he's not having health
Yeah,
scares.
he hasn't had an ACL tear yet.
But I mean, can you speak to that? Because I think sometimes people think when you have fame, you have all these things going on, you're on a stage, and I mean, you guys are, even to this day, searching you're at the top of the list. I was just Googling you the other day in preparation for this, and looking at the news articles, and the news isn't old on you. It's not like you were, it's 2023 news. I mean, it's like last week somebody wrote an article, and 24 days ago or 24 hours ago somebody wrote an article on you. So you guys are plastered still all across the internet, but problems are going to come your way, no matter how big you may get in today's society, or if you're just in the world, to use a pun, pun intended.
The world you know.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the human experience. It's not tragedy is tragedy and bad things. They're not exclusive to a certain section of the population.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it hit us hard. It was breast cancer, and I believe it was 2007, and actually we were spending a lot of time together, I think, right in that era.
It was probably right around that time, just after, because it was about probably the 2009, 2010 era that we really started to become closer friends. So yeah.
Matter of fact, the guys, because I was hanging around Jason Fowler, a mutual friend, even Ed and Dean were like, well, maybe Jason can play bass and fill in for you for a little bit. And I was like, no,
right.
I'll figure out a way. Not
to play quite
the show.
yet for that one.
Well, I mean, it's just, you never know what it's going to take, especially when it's breast cancer or any type of cancer. You don't know which road, or there's going to be forks in the road, man. And it's going to all be about that pathology, man. When that pathology comes back, there's going to be a true fork in the road, and one's going to take you on a much better course than the other one will. And that's what it came down to. It comes back to a lot of microbiology and stuff like that. But she had surgery then, and then it came back. But she's been through a lot. She's been well over 20 surgeries in her life at this point, including 3 C-sections. But
wow, Will, I didn't know that.
But yeah, infection set in the second time, and there was a lot of stuff. But man, you just go to the best doctors, you trust people, and there's not much you can do except hang in there and love each other and try to use use the powerful force of love and like my dad said, the second most powerful force on earth.
Yeah.
Music.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Yeah. Well, I know you've got a lot of people praying for you too, and in your corner, you've got a lot of folks thinking it there and helping, and that's the thing is that like when you're generous in your life, it sometimes can come back that way, right? When you've got
for sure.
People all around you.
But there's no universal law there either.
That's right. Yeah. Well, that's exactly right. And I know that the great thing about it is again, I told you, I've said this already, that Will is a family man. And that's what I love the most about you is that you're a family man. I mean, when he would come up to the church and his whole clan would come up to the church when we were doing stuff, man. And crew. I mean, his mother, his father, his kids, Donna, he'd have his brothers there. They'd have their kids there. We'd go to lunch sometimes together. And I swear half the restaurant would be Turpins and meat. Yeah. It's insane. Y'all travel well, and Donna's mother would come. She was always with us a lot too.
Oh yeah, she's still great. She's still healthy, doing good.
So good.
She's making side money, cleaning houses, and I got her here once a month cleaning the studio.
Come on, baby. That's awesome. That's great. She's such a sweetheart, and that's what I think. I think that's what keeps you grounded. It's got to be. It's that family that's there for you nonstop.
You keep saying that I'm a family man as if I had to make a decision to want to do that.
That's right.
If I have to, using words and being literal with words, I did most of that for selfish reasons. I did it because I wanted to.
I love that, Will. I love that. That is such a. By the way, I'm going to give you another.
Brilliant.
There we are. Brilliant. That's such a great note. Yeah, because you want to, right? I mean, you wanted to do it.
I didn't want to miss the kickoff, man.
That's so awesome, man.
5:30 a.m. flight out of Detroit. I'd make a kickoff in Sandy Springs, man.
That's so awesome. That is so
Dude,
awesome.
I was just gone for the weekend away from Alonzo, and it was when I got home, I was like, man, two days away. I got a 10-month-old.
We're all girl dads here. Of course, Jackson's my oldest, so I'm fortunate enough to have a son, and which, by the way, he's a sophomore. Actually, he's a junior. I'm sorry, he's a junior in college. He'll be a senior here in another semester.
Tell him I said, hey.
Absolutely, I'll definitely do that. And Izzy's now she's going in her sophomore year in college at West Florida. Jackson's down in Tampa, and I've got a junior, the last one, Soph, still here. So it's crazy. They just keep getting bigger. I know your kids are stacked a little bit older than mine. And Brandon's got daughters the same age as Izzy and Soph, and right around there. And then Juice has one.
I waited till I was 44 to have my first kid.
He's got a little baby.
Got 10-month-old.
Oh, dude, in my industry, almost all my friends waited till that age. I'm the only one that started young.
And aren't you? And you're the one laughing now. You're the one laughing now.
Yeah, all yours are leaving now. I'm just getting into it.
I'm that same way. I'm like, I've got days. I'm
ready
time.
to go to work now. Let's do some work.
Yeah, it's starting to make sense for me though. Like all the stuff y'all went through when y'all were like, I'm in my 30s. I'm like, what do you mean you got kids?
Yeah, he's like, why can't you hang out? Why can't you hang out every evening?
Yeah, I get it now. But just being 2 days away from her, that's the first time, in 10 months. I was ready to get back.
Were you?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So, talking about kids, what have you told your kids in setting goals? I know you want them to set goals. I know you want them to do things in life similar to you guys set goals and do things. What do you say? What have you said, or do you say to your children as they're setting goals? And I know your kids are a little older.
I'm probably not that good at that part.
I actually love the honesty.
Yeah, I mean, it's good. Could see myself being the same way.
I try to do a lot of leading by example, but we definitely talk about goals, and the longest journey starts with the first step. All that stuff, man. Yeah. Don't get intimidated by things. You will figure it out. Stick in there. It's gonna feel like you're lost one day, but if you just stick in there,
right,
it might only take another day later, and you'd be like, oh,
right,
oh yeah, now I get it. Now I can take that next step forward and continue on this journey.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how to eat an elephant, like one bite at a time, right? You got to have where you want to go. I always tell people too that you have somewhere you go, but don't be afraid to change the plan. You know,
Right.
You know, you might know the end game, but you've got to have an end game. But you can move the goalposts. You can move the direction.
You don't have to be so focused on the end game.
Yeah,
that would be more my philosophy.
Yeah,
make sure you're analyze and make sure you kind of know and start taking steps towards that. And if it changes, then you've already taken some steps forward and you're changing. Now you're going in a different direction, you know?
That's right. That's right. You know, Will, there is one other question I wanted to ask you earlier, and I wanted to go back to it. There are millions of kids out there playing bass, playing guitar, playing drums, painting, sculpting, or any other of the creative arts. I mean, what would you tell them they should chase? Because I think sometimes you get it when you're young. You think, well, I want to chase what Will's doing. That may happen. But
I would definitely not even use the word chase, right? I would say.
What would you tell them to focus on then?
Yeah, put your focus on what you feel, and sometimes it's hard for people to feel exactly where they want to go or what they want to do or how they want their art to be, right? Because you ultimately, to be successful in any of those things, right? There's no shortage of people, like you said,
right,
trying to be a songwriter or trying to be a professional musician. Yeah, I would say don't chase. Stay, find an angle that you like, that you feel comfortable with. And a lot of people, the best ones, kind of know it. It's kind of intuitive with them as far as what's comfortable with them. But I would say just stay on that path. And then what I tell everybody is, along the way, use your ears more than you use your mouth.
That's a good one.
That's very accurate.
That's right.
Yes.
2 ears, 1 mouth. Right.
Yeah. It's hard to listen when you're talking.
So good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a really good one for a guy that's got a podcast. So
true. So true.
I listen a lot to Becker talk. I'll tell you that.
That is so good.
Not only do we do this, we go home and watch it after it's done.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Man, I gotta watch it 3 times, dude. I gotta make the cover, dude.
I mean, we're nailing it so far. I don't think we have a single edit.
No, this one's going to be good.
Right?
This one's going to be good. It's just that
Good.
what you don't see, though, is there's like 4 cameras that you're not seeing.
Yeah, I'm just keeping my eye on Becker's camera. Yeah, that's the one that wants to go out.
It's still good. Yeah, Juice does a plug 850
production.
850 Productions.
850.
So he's been doing a lot of great productions in TV and film and real estate and things like that down here on the coast.
Don't tell him about the house I shot last week that burned down. Let's talk about it.
Oh, it did. It sure did. It burnt down.
What
Did you do something in there? The police are going to come
Shot
interview
it Tuesday,
you.
goes live Thursday, burns down Sunday.
Oh my God.
To the ground, buddy. To the ground.
It was only $3.4 million.
Yeah. I mean, he just increased his insurance $5 million.
I mean,
I'm not going to put that out there. Sorry, whoever's listening to this. I was just joking. So
Our first edit, everybody.
There's your first edit.
yeah, there's my first
Will
edit.
called it.
your camera just died, dude. Your camera just died.
Gosh, it just died. It just
See
died.
what you did?
It just died.
No, dude.
Yeah, no, we're normally doing
got
this
poker
on
tonight, dude.
I know
We
we
gotta
got poker.
settle down, man.
This is I'm going like straight.
I wish I could be around y'all play some poker, man.
You got to come
I don't
to
have
Monday
poker
nights.
crew right
We
now.
do Monday nights, so
Well,
anytime
if you
you
come,
got
I'll
it free.
come.
We got free anytime. It's a lot of fun, easy buy-in.
Yeah, it's only 80 or 100 bucks.
I
They're
was
all really good, Will, and they'll take all your money.
we are live, by the way. We are recording, but
I'm a freaking badass. I ain't gonna sandbag you.
hey, I appreciate it because I want to tell you our table. I
Coming
feel
in
like
hot.
if you can play at our table, you can play anywhere. I mean, it is really a tough table.
We got
to play.
3 World Series poker bracelets at our table. I feel like
there's a story. We've told it on the pod before. Juice, you can tell the story. There's Ebro.
our little casino here.
Yeah.
It's a 120-person tournament. 6 dudes went up there. 5 of 6 made the final table.
That's from our table. Yeah. So it's a
Went
it's
first,
a legit
second,
place.
4th, 9th, and 11th or something. It was insane.
It's really a tough table. And like the last few weeks, we've been playing on 2 tables.
Yeah,
and
we've
then
had
combining
16
last
16
last
guys
Monday.
last
So
Monday.
today probably I hadn't looked at the text message.
probably
We're
like
probably
8.
going to be like 7 or 8 probably.
Yeah. But it's a $100
still
buy-in,
$100 buy-in. So it's not
We
even
don't
crazy.
play for the money, really. You
No,
know, it's
it is
camaraderie.
it is camaraderie and bragging rights.
The guys that play for the money usually don't.
Bragging rights are worth way more than the cash.
100%.
For sure.
$100 buy-in.
Yeah.
$100 makes it just good enough to where you actually care about the money.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
It's just good enough. It should probably be a little higher, but
Right.
it's just good enough.
Right, but we've got working guys that plenty of people that can afford that, and then you've got guys that come off the fishing boat. that come and play. And so
Yeah,
we've
so
got a
it's a
lot
good
of
mix.
locals here. It's a great mix, and every one of them. I mean, we've weeded out.
I've been doing it 15 years. Yeah,
It's
we've
like the longest running poker game in
yeah, I mean,
the
it's-
Emerald Coast here.
I've kind of figured out how to pick the guy.
I'm a fan, man. I grew up, man. I remember us skipping high school. Me and Shane, the original drummer of Collective Soul. We were tight even in high school. We would skip. I remember us skipping on Fridays. We'd get beer from somebody at a gas station, and we'd be starting playing cards by 12 on Friday. We wouldn't be done till we fell asleep at like 2 a.m. You know, I mean, I'm a card player from way back, man.
You've been playing it for a while.
If I joined your game,
we're all, yeah.
it's a guaranteed $400 loss a month for me. So just think about that in terms of it's not that much money, but put that in your budget.
Hey, look,
Put that in your
I would
budget.
say poker, and you hear the pros say this: poker is 50% luck,
Oh yeah,
50% skill.
yeah.
So the skill matters.
What if you have no skill and no luck,
But if
Will?
you get cards,
No,
you're gonna win.
100%. Our guys that are at the top. Traditionally, you've got guys in our group that are usually in the top half, right? And then the winners,
Right.
the people in the money, are usually they can vary because it can be the guys
Right.
in the top half, or it can be somebody got really lucky with cards.
You get
So if
cards,
you
you're
understand,
gonna win,
but
man.
then you're just
That's the
understanding a system, right? Of the betting patterns and percentages based on your hold cards and what the deck's showing. So it gets funny. We've got some funny guys that I really enjoy playing with them. I ran into a guy the other day that plays with us, and what's so bad is his tail is so out there. I finally told him what it is, but I don't think he can stop it. But I have my own. The guys know my own too. You know, I have ticks and I have all that other stuff too. So it is what it is. And but we are kind of coming towards the last little bit of our show here. But we do have. It is time for the juice time, baby.
Juice, oh juice,
Oh, juice.
where are you? We're waiting patiently for what you do. Google Guru, he'll make it right. In a flash, he'll solve the fight. Oh man, he's good at poker, that's right.
Chill. All right,
boy,
so
Juice.
question of the day is, what TV show did you love as a kid?
Oh, TV show I loved as a kid.
Mine is easy.
I mean, so I like Long Rangers.
A-Team.
The A-Team.
A-Team's a good one.
What did he say? Pity the fool.
Pity the Fool.
Pity the fool.
But
Good
Abe
one.
Arrakis. But here's the thing: the
Abe
A-Team,
Arrakis.
they were the worst shot. They never shot anybody. They just shot automatic
died.
weapons.
Nobody
and
died.
built tanks. They would go into a workshop and build a tank and a flamethrower out of like chewing gum and some rocks, and they come out and not hit a single soul. They blow stuff up and
That's
people jump
funny.
through the
You
air.
can't show death on Saturday morning,
They
dude.
didn't
Come on,
show.
man.
They couldn't
MacGyver
hit.
was a good one too. Then
MacGyver's
you're talking
great.
about putting stuff together. MacGyver was
Or
good.
was A-Team on Saturday morning? Saved by the Bell is what I watched a lot.
Saved
Okay.
by the Bell. You were
Yeah,
a little bit.
I was a
behind me.
little younger.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Saved by the Bell.
Fraggle
You're like
Rock.
20? You're like
You're
20.
lying.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
Saved by the
He's just like
Bell.
As a
Kelly
kid, right?
Kelly
As a kid?
Lebowski.
Oh, well, for sure, dude.
Kelly Lebowski.
Who didn't like Kelly Lebowski? Come on.
So, Will, you've got a favorite TV show as a kid? Did we break?
Man, there was so many good ones. Hey, you want to go on that? Yeah, it was breaking up on my side.
No,
how is it on
it
your
was.
side?
you're good.
It was.
Yeah, just
No.
froze.
You're good.
You
You
are
just froze for a second. We're good.
Matrix.
Yeah, it's the Matrix. Yeah, we're all in it. But yeah. So, what was? Did you have a favorite one?
On a creepy, weird level, I used to love watching Charlie's Angels.
Who does?
Yeah, creepy. Yeah.
Let me guess. You were like
Yeah.
14, 15 years old.
That's pre-Baywatch. That was pre-Baywatch.
Oh, Baywatch. Another good one, dude.
That's
We're
right.
talking 20 years before Baywatch, guys.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. By the way, those are the Delve deck. DELVE, Delve deck. So parents, again, I've said this before on this show. If you've heard me once, you've heard me say it again. Get you a set of Delve deck. Put it on your kitchen table. Your teenagers, your kids, your middle schoolers, they come home and they go, "How's the day?" And they go, "I don't know." Pull out a Delve deck card and start some conversation at the dinner table. It'll change their lives and change yours. But no, that was a good one. Well, Will, honestly, I've really enjoyed our time here today. I really appreciate you coming on. You're a great friend to know and a great person. Again, you're a great artist, but you're really a even better friend. So I really appreciate you coming on. It's just been So much fun having you on. We're gonna have to, do this again, and next time we've got to get it where you and Donna come down here. And I didn't.
Well, we did talk about Joe Chapman.
I know. I didn't even mention that Donna's a
works
realtor.
with Joe.
Yeah,
with
works
Joe.
with Joe.
Which Joe's been
Guys,
on. Joe's been on our pod many times.
I've known this fella for a long time.
I know.
His name is Joey.
I told him. I said the problem is Will and I know, like, if you look at our Facebook page, I mean, he's got many more followers, but I'm just saying that we probably share hundreds of Facebook friends. It's probably not even.
His name is Joey. I'm the only one now that calls
Joey.
him.
Are you still there?
Joey better. Little
So
baby
he
kangaroo.
asked when he came to work for us when we had CLM. He asked me to not call him Joey. He said, "I want to go to Joe," and so I broke free from it after all those years
I
of
haven't
knowing
broke
him.
free, and I'll be hanging around the people at the brokerage every now and then, and I'll say something. I'll like, "Hey, Joey," and they all break their neck like, "What? He's known
Who's
as Joey?"
Joey?
I was like, "Well, I know him as Joey."
Joey was Joey till I'm telling you, in his late 20s, early 30s. He was Joey, and so it is now Joe.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right. You're on it.
He pit stopped me. And I honored him asking, and I said, "All right, I'll go to Joe." But in fact, hey, in my phone, it's Joey Chapman. Is in my phone. That is how he is.
Oh my God. JJ Chapman.
Well, in mine, it's still Joey. So whatever.
Joey Chapman.
Yeah, well, you told me Will knew Joe. I was like,
know,
strike one, dude. I don't know if we should have him on.
Come on,
That's
I love
nice.
Joe.
Joe's a great.
I love Joe.
Hey, we need to have Joe and Kristen come down.
It'd be better
and
if they were
bring,
down
We'll
there.
bring
Yeah.
Donna and Will down, and we'll do
Christmas
something
special.
in the studio.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Christmas
Good group.
songs. Yeah.
Bring the
Christmas
guitar.
special.
We'll hear JB sing.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be busy though. Christmas.
Christmas is big.
We may have
Let's
a
shoot that in October.
We're building out our own pod studio down here now. So things are going so well. So we're doing our own pod studio. So we'll maybe when it gets there, it'll be even more fun. We'll have our own studio and things set up even.
Why don't you just
better.
do a concert down here so that way he's here?
Yeah. Hey,
There
listen.
we go. Moon Crush or something like that.
Moon Crush. They should do Moon Crush.
They would
Oh
probably.
my gosh,
be
you guys
there.
should
We
totally.
played somewhere in Destin. It was a room that held about 350 people. I can't remember.
Don't
the
tell
name
me
of the room.
Club LA.
Club
Don't
LA.
tell me Club
That's
LA.
where Sister
Yeah,
Hazel was
probably
last
was.
week.
Sister Hazel was last week. Club LA.
Said the bowling
I
alley.
can't remember.
Was it
Not
next?
ringing a
Was
bell,
it next
though.
to bowling alley?
It was a loud. It was a real loud.
It was next to some other things.
Okay.
It has to be that.
Club
one.
LA.
That holds 350. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of small. Like
Yeah.
I said, under 350 is what it
Yeah,
held.
yeah, it's a great stopping
It's the
ground.
only venue down here.
But
really.
you need to. Moon Crush would be amazing. I know
Moon
some
Crush.
folks.
A lot
that
of
move-
bands.
It is, but
Yeah.
man, they put them
And
up
Sheryl
too. They do
Crow
a
and,
great. Sheryl Crow was in. Yeah, they had
I don't know who's
Trombone
this
Shorty.
Year.
They
Who's
had
headliner this year.
Oh gosh, Noah Khan.
Noah
Khan came, but they also had gosh, who was the guy they're from Louisiana?
We said some.
They play a song called Monster and Good Old Days. Oh gosh, I cannot think of their names.
Is that the one you said
Yeah.
the kids were excited to see?
Noah Khan was all the kids.
Oh, okay, that was the one they wanted
that
to
was
see.
their rave. I'm gonna look up this.
That's
song
in like
real quick.
April, and then or is it twice a year now?
Uh,
So they have it set up this big theater outside. It's like these golf course used to be. It's got a big pasture, so they have a pretty good crowd there.
Pretty big. Yeah. I mean, they have
And then they got a 30th
3-day
Songwriters
concerts.
Festival
They
too,
get, yeah.
but that's small.
How's the
more intimate.
amphitheater?
the
Gulf Shores
Revivalists.
these days?
The Revivalists.
That amphitheater's pretty cool.
Yeah, the Gulf Shore Amphitheater is awesome.
The Gulf Shore Amphitheater,
Yeah.
but it's the
Still
Revivalists.
operating and,
Yeah.
and bands in there.
You know the Revivalists. I don't know if you know those guys. They're pretty.
Yeah.
So they played.
I don't know them
No, but
personally,
they
but-
played Moon Crush and they were amazing. I
Right.
mean, they were absolutely amazing. So they've got some great bands that. I mean, your sound covers many genres. in
Becker
my
just
opinion,
went and
but it's
saw
really
Bert
good.
Kreischer at the.
I did
Wharf,
see
didn't
Bert
you?
at the Wharf. Yeah, I just
he
saw
was
Bert
asking-
at the
yeah,
Wharf.
They still do a
The
lot
Wharf,
of
Yeah,
that's
the Wharf.
name
the
of it.
Wharf.
Yeah,
Thank
yeah,
you.
the
The
Wharf.
Wharf, that's
at
at
Orange
Orange
Beach.
Beach.
Orange
Yeah.
Beach. Yeah, we got to get you.
Yeah,
get you
Moon
in.
Crush would be awesome. Collective Soul can play
Anywhere.
Collective Soul. Sometimes we get put on festivals with literally. I remember a festival with Dave Mustaine. You know, we have to play. River Flows and
Yeah.
more of our rock
Yeah.
stuff. But we get put on festivals with anything from that to pop festivals where we kind of leave off some of the rock stuff.
No,
and
yeah,
play
yeah.
more of that
This
pop
one would be
stuff.
perfect.
This one,
I
you
think.
could play your
This would
entire
be-
discography. I mean,
Yeah, it's almost
it's perfect.
set
It's
for
Bring the
set-
whole family to the
it's set
beach.
for
Be
you.
at the beach for a couple
Well, and that's
days.
what's great is they put their artists
I
up
know
at the
Moon
beach.
Crush. You tell that promoter, give us a call. We'll be there.
I got you. Yeah,
I
yeah.
got it down.
I've got some folks
Make
that
some
I'll
calls.
have to make some calls because I want you guys to come down. But listen, you are welcome when your schedule opens up at any time. Will Any
great, man.
time.
I know,
You've been
man. I
great.
know, buddy.
Anytime. So this is our section I like to call Listen Up, Kids. So listen up, kids. We live in a world where fame sometimes is the driving force. You know, I read an article the other day that said kids in other countries are saying they want to be an astronaut, a mathematician, an engineer, and are just some of their top selections. Here in the States, the author shared that the number one response to young people of what they wanted to be was a social media influencer. I think the number one thing you can shoot for is to be an influencer for the world you know, pun intended. It's rich, I know, coming from a guy that's got a $10 podcast. In all seriousness, be a positive influence in the people around you, and then let the chips fall where they may. You can only control you. You can't control people, places, or things. So whether you're a talented artist, a math whiz, or any other talent, be you and be kind. Or don't. What the hell do I know?
You've been listening to What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB has worn quite a few hats. CEO, venture investor, accidental pastor of a downtown Atlanta church, board member, passive investor, and occasional public speaker. JB's passion with his show is sharing the good, the bad, and the downright absurd. Life's a mixture, right? JB has picked up some real gems along this journey. Lessons from the business world, the chaos of parenting, and the surprises of accidental leadership. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find Jason on Instagram at _Jason_Becker. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time.